Since the start of cinemas and movie productions in the early 1900s, viewers have been keen to replicate ancient and historical times to better understand and visualize the very different lives our ancestors must have lived. This was most evident during the 1950s and 60s with a huge surge of epic historical dramas and sword and sandal films flooding the market, creating what is referred to by many as the golden age of historical films. There is something about these golden classic films that still engrosses viewers to this day, and the simple but sophisticated manner these movies reproduced ancient societies and cultures are still unparalleled by modern films in many cases. But there was also a lot of historical films that were subpar and mediocre that came out during this time as well. That's why I've created this list on the top 5 classic historical films so you can avoid any duds and see the golden age of historical epics in all their glory. At number 5 we have the 1953 classic film Julius Caesar, which follows the events in Rome after the death of Julius Caesar and the political turmoil which ensues between Mark Antony and Marcus Brutus. This classic film uses the Shakespearean play as the central template to follow, but makes some slight modifications to create a truly entertaining and mesmerizing film. This film stars Marlon Brando as Mark Antony, in which he displays his acting chops at full force, using his oratory skills to give moving monologues and to motivate viewers and Romans to avenge the death of Caesar and free Rome from the clutches of corrupt senators like Brutus and Cassius. This movie has amazing acting by the entire cast, especially Marlon Brando and James Mason. The plot moves along at a steady pace, keeping viewers engrossed from beginning to end. However, the movie does show its age in certain aspects, such as the cinematography, battle scenes, and set pieces, but that does not change the fact this film is a classic which all fans of historical films need to add to their must-watch list. At number 4 it is The Fall of the Roman Empire, the classic 1964 sword and sandal film which looked at the corruption and politics present within the Roman Empire during the reign of Commodus and how these events started the decline of the Roman Empire and the downfall of all its glory. Although this film was a huge box office bomb, it still garnered positive feedback from critics as the plot and story for the movie was great, but it just got released at a time when the market was oversaturated with sword and sandal films. This film highlights what makes the classic era of historical films so endearing even to this day, as this movie relies solely on amazing acting by the entire cast and a strong plot to carry the movie forward, as there is no CGI or over-the-top action in this film to distract viewers from weaker elements of the movie. There are a few shortcomings in the film, however, in terms of pacing and character motivations, but nearly 40 years later, there is a reason that The Fall of the Roman Empire is still remembered as one of the best historical films ever created, and you owe it to yourself to find out why that is. At number 3 it is Cleopatra, an epic historical drama based off the book The Life and Times of Cleopatra by Carlo Franzese, and historical accounts written by ancient historians such as Plutarch and Appian. This film's primary focus is to bring to life the various struggles and obstacles that Cleopatra had to overcome to maintain Egypt's sovereignty from the imperial clutches of Rome. This film was a huge box office success and a winner of multiple awards when it got released in 1963, such as winning the awards for Best Acting and Best Cinematography. This film is worthy of the high praise it receives even to this day, with Rex Harrison and Richard Burton really shining in their roles as Caesar and Mark Antony, but Elizabeth Taylor gives a lifeless performance as Cleopatra and struggles to bring her complex character to life. Cleopatra had an astronomical budget for the time, which results in this film having top-level cinematography, battle scenes, and set pieces, making it a pinnacle of the golden age of sword and sandal films. The weakest elements of this film are when the movie strays away from the big battle scenes and amazing backdrops and tries to display the more political and intimate conversations between characters such as Cleopatra and Caesar, where the dialogue is weak and at times poorly delivered, resulting in a film where the political and cultural aspects of the time are poorly considered and barely portrayed to the audience. But historical inaccuracy and distracting customers with eye candy and over-the-top battles is a trick used by Hollywood since day one, and this movie is unfortunately no exception to the rule. However, this film is a splendid festival for the eyes, and the storyline is engaging and rapid-paced, meaning that viewers will be thrilled and entertained from beginning to end, if not any more familiar with how complex the relationship between Egypt and Rome was than when they first started the film. At number 2 it is Zulu, a film which depicts the Battle of Rorke's Drift during the Anglo-Zulu War which took place in 1879. Zulu was actually voted as the 93rd best British film ever created in 2017, which really highlights that even today many actors, producers, producers, and critics still view this film as a cornerstone of British cinema and perhaps one of the greatest war films ever created. This film is unique for the time as it does not shy away from the brutalities of war, showing all the events leading up to the Battle of Rorke's Drift and the battle itself in a brutal, realistic, and gruesome manner, in which many atrocities committed by both sides are put at the forefront. The directors for Zulu really took pride in their work and created a film which has high production quality even by today's standards, and a cast of highly talented actors, and a story which moves along at a rapid pace but is always coherent and easy to follow. But this movie has received some criticism, especially in two important areas, as many critics view this film as a film with racist undertones and too imperialistic, and the other main criticism being the liberties taken with the film, causing it to be largely historically inaccurate. These concerns still do not change the fact that Zulu is one of the greatest films ever created, regularly featuring as a contender for best film ever created in various online polls and magazines on a regular basis, and you owe it to yourself to find out what makes Zulu a cut above the rest of all its competition. The top spot on this list goes to the award-winning 1960s classic film Spartacus, which depicts the life of Spartacus from a lowly slave and gladiator to one of Rome's most feared enemies. This film has some of the best acting, battle scenes, and storytelling that I have ever witnessed in a historical film, and its masterful storytelling and character development is done in such an efficient manner that historical films to this day still cannot bring the same level of realism to our screens, even with their inflated budgets and advanced technology. All of the cast in this film are excellent, with many of them winning awards for their performances, such as Kirk Douglas and Peter Ustinov. Spartacus also withstands the test of time, as this film is still used as a blueprint on how to depict large battle scenes and the political maneuverings of a complex entity like the Roman Republic effectively on the big screen. There are some minor issues in pacing and character motivations of some of the antagonists, but these issues are minute and do not really deter the viewer from being engrossed in the film from beginning to end. So if you're looking for a classic film which depicts the life of Spartacus in a simple but effective manner, then the 1960s Spartacus is my recommendation for you, and also my recommendation as the best classic historical film of all time. So lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video, and if you found this video to be useful, please do like and share, and also do subscribe to my channel as I regularly post videos on the latest historical TV shows and movies on a regular basis. Thank you so much for watching.